Money is very rarely the most important thing, but it's the one thing that people feel like they have to talk about, and they want to make sure you understand their expectations. So we can reframe things. Whenever you're negotiating with someone or talking to a seller at any level, somebody's always in their ear feeding them a whole bunch of stuff. Whenever you go to somebody and you have a feeling that they're going to give you an answer of no, don't ask those type of questions. Instead, you should be asking, I want you to think about this. Every time you go into a conversation, interaction, negotiation, I want you to stop for just a moment and pause. And by the way, when you're speaking and you pause, it makes you look smarter. I know it's crazy. But pause for just a moment and say, listen, what does someone have to know or need to know? What frame of mind does someone need to be in to absorb about what I'm about to say and make sure they don't take it out of context, to make sure that the way that I want them to receive the information is actually going to happen correctly, right? Think about that a little bit. And everybody just blurts, they just say their feelings, they say their thoughts for a minute. You got to calm that down a little bit. Okay, it's almost as bad as resting bitch face. Yeah. You ever know those people that it's kind of embarrassing, but when they're walking away from the bathroom, they have toilet paper stuck to their shoe, or they got something in their teeth, right? I mean, if you just walked up to somebody you randomly know, and you're like, you got something right there, or, it's embarrassing, right? But if you pre-frame it, you can say, hey, are you the kind of friend that would like me to let you know if something's going on, like your breath stinks or something like that? And they're like, yeah, tell me if that. Okay, well, you got like giant piece of broccoli in your teeth. That type of way where we can change the way people are going to experience what we say to them. I love this one. Like, are you the kind of person that just likes to try to figure it out on your own and beat your head up against the wall? Or do you want somebody who's already done all this stuff and been successful to just give you the blueprint? Right? There's so many different ways to talk to people. Like remember church on Wednesday nights? This woman used to walk up to me. She's like, "Hi, Chris. Do you think are you helpful?" "Yes, ma'am." "I need you to pick up every single chair in this room." They got me every freaking time. So I'm giving it back to the world now. But it's so powerful, right? Suspend reality for a minute, right? Imagine you're talking to somebody and you want them to be in a creative mindset. You want them to be thinking about anything is possible. Maybe you're in a negotiation, and has anybody negotiated with a seller at some level of business or real estate, and the first thing they say is, no seller financing? You ever had that? It's like, whoa, I haven't even told you my name yet, right? This is very powerful. So let's just suspend reality for a second. When you do that, you allow them to get into a no headspace where they can literally clear their brain for a second, and they can think about anything's possible. And then you can deliver new ideas and concepts that they would just shut off immediately, right? Here's another great one. Whenever you go to somebody and you have a feeling that they're going to give you an answer of no, don't ask those type of questions. Instead, you should be asking, what would have to be true for this outcome to happen? What would have to be true for us to make a deal happen today? And we're changing it. You don't ever have to get a no ever again. You just got to stop asking yes, no questions. Does that make sense? That's powerful. What would have to be true? What would have to be true? It's very, very powerful. Here's another one. Imagine we can come to terms today. Imagine we can make this deal happen today. And then I actually like to divert their attention away from the deal and talk about what's happening after. We call it dimensionalized benefits in marketing, right? Imagine we can make this deal happen today. Tell me, what's the next 3 weeks look like for you? How long is it going to take you to get out of the property? Or do you have 3 weeks where we can work together on this transaction to make sure that this business completely changes over? I want to bring in my manager. I want them thinking about after the deal as well. So what would have to be true? Imagine we can make this happen today. I love this one. I learned this one from necessity. I've had business partners in the past where they call me and they're stressed out. It's like, hey, we don't have the money. This isn't working. I said, how different would it feel if all those things were just magically working? Well, how different it would feel in 30 days if all that stuff was fixed? What would your energy and focus be towards? Or how would it feel if those problems weren't really happening right now? And I love the way it makes people think. They're like, that's interesting. I guess I would probably be focused on this. I said, do you think focusing on that is a better use of your time than focusing on worrying about it? How much energy are we putting towards fret? And it usually can help people. This is great with your spouse, by the way. Men do not use this. But someone's upset. You can say, well, how different would it feel right now if you weren't upset? That's not going to work well. So choose your battles, right? But it's very, very powerful. I love this one as well. Like, hey, money aside, I'm teaching them to look a different direction. Money aside, what else is important to you? We use this all the time. especially in business acquisitions. We're talking to sellers every day, and I love asking this question because a lot of people posture behind the concept of money and how much money they want for their business. And Carl's already told you several times, money is very rarely the most important thing, but it's the one thing that people feel like they have to talk about, and they want to make sure you understand their expectations. So we can reframe things. The goal of a business acquisition negotiation is to have them want you to buy the business. We want to position ourselves as a safe pair of hands, because that is truly more important than money, right? So money aside, what else is important to you? Very powerful stuff. Imagine I can get you your asking price. This is that creative financing foot in the door. Imagine I can get you your asking price. It changes everything. Do you imagine the posture of someone would just kind of relax? So all of a sudden you're not trying to take advantage of them? Because they're probably used to people calling and lowballing them, right? Let's keep going. So let's put this into action. You guys like this stuff? Awesome. So just think about this though. Like, do they need to be in a creative headspace? If we're going to go in and start doing creative financing negotiations and leverage buyouts and annuity deals, and no one's ever considered that to be an option, right? One of the things that we keep forgetting in general is who else is in their ear. Whenever you're negotiating with someone or talking to a seller at any level, somebody's always in their ear feeding them a whole bunch of stuff, right? And you have no clue what they've been fed. You don't know their personal biases. You don't know what they've experienced or any of that stuff until you get really good at something else I could teach you. But you've got to figure out how to get them away from that before it even comes up, okay? What do you need to break down some sort of limiting belief first? Do you need to have them push emotion aside? You ever talk to a seller and realize like, ooh, this is an emotional sale. This is an emotional thing, right? How do you get people to put that aside so they can have a logical conversation with you, right? There's all kinds of things. One of the concepts that Robert Cialdini talks about in the book is that essentially people will believe what they're paying attention to, and our values shift dependent on how we have been primed. Therefore, if you want something to be more important in your audience minds or your seller's mind, make them focus on that. It's not misdirection, it's pre-framing, okay? Pretty cool stuff.